Don't judge me, but I actually like Zack Snyder. I really love how he portrays powerhouses on the big screen, and Superman is no exception. Let's talk about him, though. And his interpretation of Superman. The Snyderverse, one of my favorite movies of all time when it comes to the Justice League, the Snyder Cut, which means when it comes to the feats from the Justice League movie, I'm only going to be going over the ones in this version of it. You know, the one with Darkseid. Let's get it. I don't want to spend too much time on this. You guys already know the standard stuff. Superman's from another planet, Krypton. On Earth, he was adopted by the Kents. They raised him to be a decent human being. He was far from normal. He didn't understand why he wasn't normal and why he had all these supernatural abilities. But during his high school days or early years, he would do heroic saves and things of that such. His human parents ended up showing the ship he came in, proving that he's alien. Then he starts getting nervous. I'd rather just pretend I'm still your son by blood. There's implications that he does get stronger as time goes by when there's scenes like this.
You've grown stronger here than I ever could have imagined. The only way to know how strong is to keep testing your limits.
Don't get me wrong, oil rigs are huge, but there was implications that, yeah, he does get stronger because there was a point in the movie where it actually seemed like he was struggling to hold the weight up. And it seemed to even kind of make him kind of sleepy when he fell in the water, just reminiscent after such a feat. He struggled lifting something like that, but apparently off screen did something even crazier, like shifting a tectonic plate, implying that he's gotten way stronger since that feat of him struggling moving that oil rig piece or whatever. There's like clear implications that Superman does get stronger throughout different movies and as time goes by. Because they state here they're worried about his growing power, or Bruce is worried about his growing power during the Batman vs. Superman movie. You think they're just talking BS? It's literally stated here, Batman is worried about Superman's growing power. Like, it's literally stated here in the lore of the movie, as he grew older, Clark also grew stronger. So you guys get the idea. He eventually met his real father's consciousness, Jor-El, gave him the rundown on Krypton because a Kryptonian ship he discovered, and that's when he went through the first flight, yada, yada, yada. And, you know, he ended up meeting super beings, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash. So you know he's strong, which I'm going to get back to in a little bit, but he's very versatile. In the lore, they talk about his durability. It's nearly impossible to harm him. Can't really burn him. Bullets bounce off of him. You know the standard bullets bounce off of him because he's the Man of Steel theme. That's in this universe as well. Super Batmobile type tech. Tanks just bounce off of him. He can defy gravity and fly, as you can literally see it, and they describe it here. In the Snyder's interpretation of Superman, he's one of them characters that can fly real fast in a straight line, but can also take sharp turns in the blink of an eye, because it's literally confirmed when it comes to his raw speed, it also applies to his reflexes in combat. It's stated he can move faster than any humans can see. In an instant, he can accelerate until he's moving swifter than the speed of sound. Proof of him surpassing the speed of sound here, you see him keep on breaking sound barriers, leaving thunder booms in his wake. His reflexes are equally as quick, which is very important. With his lightning reflexes, he can think and react to control his action when moving at super speed. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to avoid anything in his way. He wouldn't be a heroic being if he just ran into all the buildings. This is a great scene to show what I'm talking about. Like, they're in a city full of buildings. You can see Superman having the speed to make sharp turns without running into buildings, showing he does have reflexes thanks to combat speed. I mean, it would be pointless to be able to move like this if you couldn't see where you were going moving at this crazy speed. So his reflexes actually keep up with his point A to point B flight speed, or just raw speed. This is an important aspect about him, which I'm definitely going back over in this video again later on. One can say he has energy projection, or one can say blast power. He does have heat vision. He can control the strength and power of them. So yeah, it's not the same force every time he blasts it outward. Like, they talk about the different levels, how he can gently beam and heat up a doorknob, a stronger and tightly focused beam that can cut through a sheet of metal like a laser, or Superman can release a large and super strong beam that acts as a blast of energy, blast power. X-ray vision, super hearing, so he knows what's going on around the world, basically. If his grip strength is this strong, imagine what his fist will feel like. He can effortlessly break handcuffs, strong enough to rip steel doors off the hinges, Batmobile roof he can rip off. He's strong enough to lift up this Batman and his suit and sling him that far. You see this concrete he can lift up with ease. You got vehicles falling on him. He can just move them off of him. Even when he's young, he can lift entire buses out of the water, nowhere near his prime. He was on the oil rig here, and all this BS was trying to fall down this way, and he was holding all this weight up. This was, one could say, during his weaker days when this was actually a challenge, but he can do this with ease currently. Held all that up. If he doesn't want to be moved, he won't be moved. He did this to this guy's truck, Kryptonian drones. Since it's Kryptonian, no telling how strong these things are, he's still able to crush it with his super strength. You can get an idea of his super strength by how high he can jump, and his legs can take the pressure of him landing. See how he can lift big things like this? You got thick statues of him that are this big he can lift up with ease. Like, this is like apparently a part of the Batman vs. Superman universe, but comics. But take this as you will, because I don't even think Zack Snyder's involved with this. But yeah, stuff that Superman should be able to do when it comes to his power. Like literally lifting up the entire train. It's something that he should be able to do, even if Zack Snyder isn't involved with this. Like, because he literally lifts heavier stuff than this in the actual canon movies anyway. He has the raw strength to pull huge ships this big. It's confirmed that he can hold thousands of tons over his head. I think we all kind of knew this. He can lift at least thousands of tons. It should be obvious he can hit really hard, like making this big old hole in his ship. So obviously he can hit hard enough to collapse walls, duh. Going through walls here with his striking power. You can actually see him do this to this big Kryptonian ship, busting through it. One could say he can use his flight speed to increase his strikes because he can drill you through big structures like this and destroy them. Stuff like this prove he could easily collapse buildings. He can hit Kryptonians so hard, beings that have the same power as him, he can hit them so hard that they cause all this destruction. Him clash with another top tier Kryptonian like Zod creates big shockwaves like this. You know he hits hard because you can see the shockwaves coming off his punches. Boom. And drones, he can destroy. Of course he can hit hard enough to mess up missiles. You can kind of get an idea of how hard he can strike when he fights beings on his level. Like striking Doomsday, creating this much of an impact. I mean, one could say part of the reason why he can hit hard is because his hands are fast. Remember earlier how I brought up how his combat speed and his raw speed go hand in hand? Can attack you while everything's slowed down, basically. Like in this occasion, you can see Flash blitzing, one of the fastest characters. He can react and dodge. Superman's one of the few people that can react to Flash moving at super speed.
Just gotta go faster than the speed of light, far beyond the speed of light, like far beyond the speed of light, like far beyond the speed of light.
It's implied Flash is a speedster, so his reflexes and raw speed are comparable to one another. Since he can do a decent job at competing with Flash and raw speed, the DCEU Superman can at least fight at light speed. Maybe not when Barry did that time traveling or rewinding time little crap with going far beyond the speed of light, but at the bare minimum, he can at least fight a Barry that's not doing time reversal, be dang near close to light speed. Look how hard he can hit. Shockwaves reverberating that much, shaking the whole area. I really can't stand off-screen feats, but apparently between the events of these two movies, Superman has been doing good deeds, helping out the world in his own ways off-screen. Because in Batman vs. Superman, we look at these articles about Superman rescuing or doing good deeds around the city. It stated Superman's shifted tectonic plate prevents devastating earthquake doing so. It's one of those feats that's hard to measure, but apparently he can move sextillions or quintillions of tons. Saying he could do this would mean he could effortlessly move cities or drag cities, pull cities, multiple islands he can drag if this was to be taken seriously from the newspaper. I mean, imagine somebody having the strength to hold up a city or multiple cities or freaking islands. If this tectonic plate feat is actually true, imagine what his punches would feel like. Yeah, he would sink an entire city if he wished. It would be like saying he could actually hold the weight of the moon on his back. Matter of fact, 2 moons he could technically hold if we take that tectonic statement seriously. Like, just picture Superman lifting weights with 2 moons on each side of the bar of him just squatting or deadlifting the weight of moons or some crap, or smaller moons. I would like to briefly remind y'all of how the moon compares to the Earth. So even if we wanted to assume he couldn't necessarily lift an entire tectonic plate, like what if he lifted half of it? Or say like a little piece of this continent right here, one could say he can lift maybe. Or half the continent. Even if we say he can lift half this, look how it compares to the moon. You see what I mean? He would still be able to technically cause devastation to the moon with his punches if he can generate this much force to move tectonic plates. What do you think though? Do you think we should take that feat seriously? Do you think he could tremble the moon or devastate the moon with his punches? What do you think? You can kind of get an idea of Superman's punching power about how much his body can withstand. The reason why him going through that mountain is important because, say, hypothetically, if Superman was to fight an exact clone of himself and they was to fight each other, his punches would be able to hurt himself, but yet that mountain destruction couldn't. That would imply if his body can withstand mountain destruction with no problem, and if we assume he can harm himself, that would mean his punches should be able to easily tremble or destroy mountains with his punches. Or strikes in general, whether he's using flight speed or just his random fists. See, there was these strong devices known as the world engines. Like, they're literally alien tech, Kryptonian tech. One could say they're extremely resilient. Like, it was the raw power of it simply landing was able to destroy this mountain right next to it. Something this big was going Mach 24 and accelerating even faster. You're probably wondering, why the heck am I bringing this up? What this got to do with Superman? See, we know this world engine is durable enough to withstand landing hard enough to where mountains explode. So we know it's durable. The world engine was trying to terraform the earth, right? And it was gravity, right? And it was blasting on Superman, right? Superman was able to stand up in the middle of all this mess. Despite this thing being extremely durable, Superman flew through it with his hitting power and messed up the world engine. This further proves, yes, he can strike hard enough to level mountains. This should be easy, honestly. Even when this junk was trying to fight Superman, we've seen him punch a tentacle of it. And since this world engine was turning the Earth into Krypton, it was actually weakening Superman. So for him to actually overpower it is even more of a feat because he's not even at full strength doing this. But his willpower and hope and everything put together made him be able to overpower it through the gravity. To one-shot it, flying through it. The spectacle doesn't stop there. Superman messing up something that can withstand mountain-shattering impacts easily. He had to fight this universe's version of Doomsday and stopped his punch, showing his muscle strength. Not to mention when it comes to what Superman can withstand, this Doomsday, when it comes to energy projection, is like a walking nuclear bomb and has enough blast power to wipe out a city, basically. And Superman has the durability to withstand that mess. Like I said before, Superman can withstand stuff that can blow away a city, and he can hurt himself with his punches. That would also imply Superman's punches feel worse than the force needed to take out an entire city or something. His punches feel worse than something that can devastate an island or one can say a city. Based on the fact he just withstood that blast without no type of shielding or nothing. These world engine devices get tricky to kind of rank a character off of because we know they're powerful, but over time it was going to actually retransform the Earth itself into Krypton, implying planetary levels of devastation over time.
It's like some kind of gravity weapon. It's working in tandem with their ship. Somehow they're increasing the Earth's mass. They're terraforming. Planetary engineering modifying the Earth's atmosphere and topography.
Turning Earth into Krypton.
So one can say, you can look at it like this. He was able to one-shot something, well, it was two devices working in tandem with one another, that was going to eventually change the entire planet into Krypton. One can say he defeated something that was a threat for the entire planet itself, while being weakened by just flying through it. Yeah, this is the remains of the crap that was super durable that Superman flew through. Superman can't be that strong because he almost died from a nuke. Like, that's true. He did get hit by a nuke. The only thing I can think of that can be his scapegoat is the fact that he was still weakened from the battle with Batman or something. Yeah, or this could just be bad writing because how did Doomsday survive then? There's members of the Justice League. She can literally look at bullets while they're mid-flight. She has hands fast enough to deflect bullets. So these leaguers that Superman has to compete against in fighting speed are way past superhuman. Yet Superman can stop her attacks with his speed. Even strong beings like Steppenwolf moves in slow motion compared to his fighting speed. And then when we're talking about his different attacks being at light speed, you know, the heat vision I already brought up already. They say his beams are red beams of light that shoot out of his eyes. He's one of those characters, thanks to him having a lot of different abilities, you can literally completely ignore his actual muscle strength. And the fact is, he still can hit hard, even without any muscle strength, just if you want to look at his raw speed, because he can ram you at crazy fast speeds. When Superman was fighting Zod, you can see their speed, how they pretty much instantly get into space, like in literally like a couple seconds. Okay, so you guys remember how Lois said,
because we're on Canadian soil, because we're on Canadian soil, because we're on Canadian soil.
So you know, Superman did all this spaceship stuff. He was in Canadian soil, apparently. And during his first flight, you see how he's in this icy place here. And he flies different places around the world like no time. He's massively faster than Supersonic. I mean, you gotta respect Zack Snyder's Superman. When other members couldn't do nothing to Steppenwolf, he can't even phase Superman. And can freeze his axe and break it. I'm mad we didn't get to see Superman fight Darkseid, but that's none of my business. But before I get going, everybody, you got to respect this version of Superman, regardless how you look at him, the Snyder version. But I got to say a quick thanks to the donators. Helps out a lot. Respect Henry Superman, or Zack Snyder Superman's version, you know. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.